Hello, welcome to another episode of The Arena. On this show, we play competitive video games and try to understand what makes them tick. Why do people love watching, or why do people love playing these games? What makes them enjoyable? How do players interact with each other? And why do people love watching these games? We've done lots of games in the past: StarCraft 2, Street Fighter, Smash Brothers, Hearthstone, and today we're switching it up a little bit. The couple games we've been playing for the last month, we've almost exclusively played 1v1 games. A little different with Smash Brothers because there's you can do teams in that, but that's not the height of Smash play. And the 1v1 is definitely where video games got their start as a competitive genre, if we look just at the history of games. But I would say in the past about 15 years, a new genre has popped up, which probably better reflects the popular sports that exist around the world, like soccer or American football or cricket. But just in the sense of a team game.
Where did that one come from?
What? It's just a team game. I was thinking that's popular in India. It's the most popular sport in India. And so there are lots of esports titles or competitive video games where it's your team against another team. And these games bring a whole slew of new challenges, and both from a game design perspective as well as how you relate to the game. The most prominent one, I think, and why I think competitive multiplayer or competitive team games have taken off is because when you lose, you have someone to blame, and you can win despite not playing well. If you're playing Street Fighter and not playing well, you're going to lose a lot, right? But if you're not good at Dota 2, you're still going to win sometimes because your team's just going to carry you. And so we're going to go into the training mode to start talking about what is Dota 2. So the first thing you need to know about Dota 2 is MOBA, which stands for Multiplayer Online Battle Arena. MOBA games are like Dota 2, League of Legends. We'll play Abaddon here. And you play as it's modeled after RTS games like StarCraft 2. And so here we see the difference is that normally I would control all these guys. Instead, I just control this guy on the horse. Here, I missed my last hit. So MOBA games have a pretty standard structure in terms of when you look at League and Dota and Heroes of the Storm and other games like this, in the sense that, so in the game, we only have one lane here, but in a typical game, this is just training mode.
Yeah.
But in a typical game, you'll have, kill our own guy. In a typical game, you'll have 3 lanes and 5 players. And the players will split between the lanes, and these little minion guys will come up into each of the lanes. Now, last hitting the guys gives you gold if you get it. Being around them when they die, regardless of whether you last hit them, gives you experience. And so, and then Dota 2 is a special game because in Dota 2, love getting last hits. In Dota 2, you can last hit your own guys, but only when they're below half health. You can't see. I can't attack him right now, but I will be able to attack him later. It looked like I attacked him, but I actually hit this guy. And so, why would you last hit these guys? Well, it gives you gold, and you use gold to purchase items, and then you use your items to kill your opponents. And when you kill enemies, you get gold. Basically, it's a game about getting lots of resources. It's kind of got a strategy component to it, where you have to kind of outgain your opponent resources because items are so important. Because if you have better items than your enemy, they can play better than you and still lose because your items will make it so you do more damage or take less damage or you're faster. And so getting items is important. Leveling up is really important too because you see down here they're deactivated for this training mode, but we've got tons of abilities and that's where MOBAs really shine is like the big MOBAs like Dota and League. They have literally 100 plus heroes to choose from, and so you get to pick the hero who you really like, who you really jive with, and get to use their kit or their list of spells or abilities to their highest potential. But a lot of the early game looks like what it does right now, which is that I'm just sitting here trying to last hit and get gold so that I can get stuff. because these games, I would say, are incredibly complex. Not just because 10 players are on the field at any given time, right? Because it's a 5v5 game. But it's also very complex because there's just a lot of decisions to make. And a lot of times, unlike in a game like Super Smash Bros. Or Street Fighter, where I feel like making the right decision has a clear consequence or a negative thing, sometimes in MOBA games, it can be very hard to tell if you made the right decision or not.
So, we were talking about punishing a lot in the Street Fighter and Smash games. Is there like a strategical death you could do in here?
Strategical death?
Yeah, like a move that you make that's like, that's clearly going to put me at a disadvantage. Like going too high into the platform on Smash.
Oh yeah. So there definitely is advantages and disadvantages, and there's risks that definitely involved. Let's go ahead and we'll just last it again. This is just to give us a feel for what the game kind of feels like. No, these are. We'll answer your question, but these are turrets, and so the lanes have turrets, and then they'll usually be 3 turrets, and then you'll have an ancient. So the goal of the game is to kill your opponent's ancient, but in order to do that, you have to win the lanes, and then get so that your creeps can go hit their tower. Like if I just try to run up and attack this tower, it will start attacking me, and the tower is much stronger than I am. Like look at how much damage it's doing to me. Very quickly, I will die so fast. But now to answer your question, there's tons of risks. Yeah, it's okay. Like if you're smart, the minions don't do very much damage to you. But anyways, and I can heal a little bit with these items that they gave me. Anyways, to your question. So a lot of the risks in MOBA games have to do with positioning because the map is very big. And now they're like, and one thing that we'll see when we actually get into the game in about 5 minutes is that to like the left and right of these towers. Oh geez, that's gonna kill me. And then you die. You know, there's also a buyback option, but anyways, and so a lot of times you might want to take a risk by invading your enemy's jungle or like the area that's not protected by the towers in order to try to catch an enemy or something like that. Or in MOBA games, because it's a team game, dying isn't always bad, right? Like, let's say, you know, if I die but my team wins the fight and all the other 4 people of my team are alive, well, then we won, right? Even though I died, we won. And so, like, but you can definitely overextend, though, and, like, go too far up. Like, if I try to, like, a very common thing that you'll do to try to kill somebody is called a tower dive. Let's say your enemy gets low, but they're under tower. You might try to go, you know, to attack them under tower, even though you know the tower will attack you, in order to try to kill them. And so that's like a risk reward kind of payoff, right? Where I'm at a disadvantage because I'm under this tower, but if I kill you and get out, then I'm at a big advantage. So there's a lot of trading of different trading in like a lighter sense of like trading like advantages and disadvantage states. Because you really want to try to get kills and stuff, because especially in Dota, when I kill somebody, they lose gold and I take it. And so the game can really snowball. If I get a bunch of kills, suddenly I'm not just gaining gold, my opponent is losing gold. And that means that, you know, and then I can go into my, like, and as I said before, there'll be 3 lanes when we actually play the game. So then I might go into my allies' lanes and kill their people, right? And then we're at a bigger disadvantage because now my allies are getting gold and they're losing gold too. So MOBA games are definitely all about like snowballing advantages, or if you're behind, trying not to lose your advantage too quickly. Last time I got like 17. This time I got 7. But all right, there we go. So let's quit and let's actually go into a game.
Sounds good.
So we're just gonna go into unranked mode. I don't want to play Wrath of Mordecai. We'll unranked, all pick. That's what we want. So ranked mode is fun, and I play ranked, but I almost exclusively play ranked mode with my friend. In fact, here I'll show you. I almost, because it's a team game, you can play with your friends.
Yeah.
Oh, we're already in a game. But just to show, I have played 226 games with my friend Aiden. We have -6 losses, which isn't that bad, but it's not very good. And meanwhile, I've only played like 230 games, so it's like I only played a couple of games without my good friend. And that's just because that's how for me personally with this game, it's a game to play with friends. And I think that's part of the appeal, right? It's like, I got some friends. So the game starts, and look at these are all the different heroes, and we can ban. I'm gonna ban Phantom Lancer. I do not like this hero. He makes a bunch of copies of himself, and then it just kills everybody. Whoa, we got a lot of bans. A lot of times when I play... Oh, wait, there we go. I thought that was the final ban. So people will ban a bunch, and then the game will just auto-select a couple of the bans that people select.
Okay.
So in the beginning stages, there's a lot of jockeying, because the other team is picking... Ooh, okay. So it looks like we're going to be playing support this game, because our team... and I'll explain why in just a sec. But basically what's going to happen is there's going to 1, 2, 2, 2, 1... yeah. So like they'll pick 2 here. We've already picked 2. And then we've got a lot of heroes. So the thing to note is that there's different kinds of heroes, right? Now, the thing here says strength, agility, and intelligence, and what that means is like spellcaster, auto attack, kind of tankier.
Yeah.
But there's a strong difference between carries and supports. Supports are generally going to be, which is what we're going to play this game. And what support are we going to play? We could play Lion. I'm going to try to pick my support, and then I'll keep talking. I actually have a spreadsheet on my computer that tells me what supports I like to play. I do really like support Abaddon. Ooh, I like support Ogre Magi, so we'll play Ogre Magi. There we go. Okay, so, and we're going to end up supporting this Troll Warlord. So carries are heroes that are good when they get items. For instance, Troll Warlord can attack really fast, and his ultimate, which is his best ability, makes it so he can't die for a little bit, which means he can keep attacking really, really fast. Yep. Because he attacks so fast, things that buff his attack power are really, really good. So he's a carry hero. He needs items to be effective. If he has no items, he's really bad, especially later as the game goes on later. Meanwhile, there's supports. Supports, as the name implies, they support their allies, but more importantly, they're just effective without items or with few items. In this case, we're going to play Ogre Magi, and the reason why Ogre Magi is, and we've locked him in, and we're going to go ahead and buy. We're going to buy the Courier, which brings items from our base. We're going to buy 2 Tangos, which are just a healing item for the early game. We're going to buy 3 Mangoes, which increase our HP regeneration, and then we can also use them to gain mana instantly, which is useful because we're a wizard hero, even though we got 2 heads. And then we're going to buy a ward. And the question is, do we buy 2 wards? I think the answer is yeah. And we're gonna give the ward to our Ember Spirit. So, or give a ward to our Ember Spirit. So, but supports are effective without items. For instance, our character, he's got a move that buffs ally attack speed. He's got a stun. And what a stun does is it makes opponents so they can't act or move for a certain period of time. Yep. And obviously, a stun is going to be good regardless of if I have items or not, because it's always going to stun. And then we've got this Fire Breath, which does do damage, but it also has a slow attached. And it one sec. Oh fuck.
What'd you do?
I made a very noob mistake.
Did you just...
Yeah. Alright, so these are wards. So they use them to get vision of stuff. And yeah, everyone's making fun of me, which is fine. So that's part of the team aspect, is that you get to play with people and you get to talk to them. But anyway, so wards allow me, like, look at how much of this map I just can't see what the heck is going on, because we have a fog of war, kind of like in StarCraft. So wards, if I place them around, will allow us to know what's going on there. And then I meant to give this guy the ward, but I needed to drag it onto him. Instead, I just pressed 1 and placed it, which was kind of silly, but that's okay. And so, anyways, we can hover over our ally and see what they bought, and we can hover over our enemies and see what they bought too.
Someone asked for a ward at mid.
I might be able to bring it to him later, but I won't be able to do it right now. Okay. Well, hopefully. So right now we're invading, so we're just trying to kill them. We might get this kill. That's really big. No, but they got a kill on us. But oh wait, so these are little runes. This is what we were fighting over. I'm not gonna give them a ward right now. Alright, so where are our little minion guys? Oh wow, I mean, whoa. I was really out of it for a second there. So the timer I thought was counting down, but it was counting up. It counts down to 0, and then the minions come, and I thought it was counting down for a little too long. So here we've got our enemies. We're gonna lightly harass here I'm just gonna do that. And so what that's gonna do is that he's on fire and he's taking a little bit of damage right now, and that's just useful. I don't want to do it too much because I have mana, and that's a limited resource.
Yeah.
But now our troll warlord's here. Now we're at a little bit of a disadvantage because for some reason instead of teleporting back, he walked back, which isn't like a huge deal, but it does mean that they're gonna hit level 2 before we hit level 2. And what that means is when you level up, you get an access to a new ability, and so we're gonna have to be careful because they're gonna hit level 2 and have 2 abilities, and we're only gonna have 1 each, and they might be able to kill us. So he just hit level 2, and so I'm just gonna come up and I'm just gonna. I don't want to take damage, but I want to stop. He has to get up close to last hit. And since I'm the support, I don't want a last hit because I want my ally to get all the last hits. Oh, fuck. Oh.
Did you just spend that on like
I've spent a stun on a little minion. I'm not having a good game so far. Let's just be real clear. I'm having a bad game right now. It's okay though. We take a little bit of damage, but I can just heal that up. So this tango, I have to eat a tree in order to actually heal with it. And I can also, let's see, my ally has tangos, so it's okay. If he didn't, I could hand him one of my tangos. So you can't share all items, but you can share some items. Oh, well, hopefully they'll die regardless. Looks like we're gonna get... Okay, good. The good thing is that they also got the kill there. Because like if I got the kill, I would have been like, it wouldn't have been a kill steal because like that was a pretty tense situation. But whoever gets the kill gets more of a pocket of the gold. I got the assist there. Right now we're doing really well. Our team has 4 kills and the other team has 1. You can see that up there. And so I'm gonna get this last hit because my ally's over there. All right. Oh, are we gonna get another kill? Now I need to bully the Slitch back. I can get this kill. Oh, I can't get the kill. Oh well, that was unfortunate. But that's okay. Now we're kind of out of mana, but we have 700 gold. So we're gonna go over to this side shop quick, and we're gonna buy a pair of boots. That'll just let us walk faster.
Yeah,
and walking faster is good
painful.
because we're a melee guys. So we're carrying around this gigantic club.
Yeah.
I love that we just kind of drag it around. The art style is one of the things that I think a lot of people love about these games. So now we're gonna be able to yes, and then he got the kill. So that was like perfect. I probably didn't need to do that stun, but it's okay. So we're winning our lane right now. This is just a very, like, there's a lot of little things. So, like, one thing I'd say about Dota is that it's a game, like, you legit have to play, like, 30 games before you understand what the heck is going on. The premier guide to Dota is Welcome to Dota 2, You Suck. Because this game is just very complex and it's difficult to play. We're gonna go ahead and eat a tree. So, luckily I've got, like, 200 games, so I can pretend to know what I'm doing. See, how's he doing on tangos? Oh, he doesn't have any, so we're gonna give him a tango. Interestingly, you can't use. All right, so he doesn't want to go in right now. I think it's because he's a little low on health. I don't remember exactly what that shield does. Oh yeah, but we'll. Oh my gosh, I just used my stun on a bad enemy. Okay, that's okay. I keep misclicking. So now we have Bloodlust, which is really, actually this is like, was not intentional. I picked Ogre Magi just because he's like my best hero, or my best support probably, but... Alright.
It's interesting that every time you start at level 1, and it's not like, you don't keep leveling up continuously between games, which also makes sense because, if you play on ranked as like a big beefy level 40.
So right now this is not good. I don't know what happened. So Troll Warlord's coming over here. I'm gonna walk over here and try to get this because I just saw that our troll. I didn't get it, but that's okay. I'm okay. I'm gonna die. It's my fault. That's okay. Okay. Troll, I think, needed to respond a little faster there, but I also made a bad decision. I decided to go for their rune Actually, it popped up at 5 minutes, and I was hoping that I'd be able to... Yep, and I died. That's okay. I really need to get these Midas boots. Alright, so we're gonna buy TP scroll, and then we're gonna teleport back to the base. Or back to the tower. And so now, just gotta be careful. We still have more kills in lane, so that's good. But I had a lot of gold there when I died, and so that's not good. Because gold is...
Lost resources.
Exactly. So one thing that I'm gonna do is once we push out the lane, I'm gonna go ahead and ward. So it's always the supports. I have another stun in 4 seconds. Alright, so that went pretty well. As long as I don't die here. Troll, what are you doing, Troll? Oh, spooking me. Alright, let's see how they're doing on health. Alright, so we'll go ahead and give them another tango. Alright, and then I'm gonna ping this. So this is a shrine, and you can use it to heal up. It like comes off cooldown like every couple minutes. So we're gonna use it now. Our ally definitely doesn't need it. He's at full everything. So keeping eye on the minimap is important. So we heal up, and then we can head back to the lane. And so that's pretty useful because we were both pretty low there. And that way we don't have to go all the way, because you heal when you're like in this fountain, but that's not particularly good. He's pinging his abilities, which I think means he wants to fight. I would prefer to fight. I'm gonna try to sneak into the woods here, because the enemy won't be able to see us, and then I'm gonna walk out and stun them when they try to chase our guy. Alright, so I just blew all my abilities at once. They're trying to... Huskar's trying to kill me, which is really, really dumb of them. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Alright, I'm gonna go ping this. So yeah. And then the arcane boots really help. So what they are is they're boots, and then every minute I can use this ability to give myself extra mana. And so the only reason I'm not using it right away is because it also does my allies, and I got 2 allies down here that I can buff. I went away at a bad time. Let's also be clear. I didn't realize that Ember Spirit was coming. But they got the kill. Looks like we're gonna get another kill. So I'm gonna stay forward because I wanna tank this tower. Yes, that was really good. We just got a bunch of kills. You learn to type little things really fast. Yeah. Language. I don't know if you saw what Troll Warlord said. Nice job, Ember. So right now what we're just doing is we're just battling lane. I would say normally the game is not this kill heavy in the first 8 minutes when you watch like pros play, because the most important thing is legit and just don't die. Like, because if you die, like we noted, dying is really bad because your enemy gets gold and you don't. Okay, so I'm gonna get.
So speaking of, how much gold do you have? So.
Yes, I have quite a bit right now. I want to buy this. I want to buy the Hand of Midas. And so that's a pretty expensive item, but that's okay. With the hand of, so now I'll get into some of like the small scale decision making that you can make in this game. So I'm playing Ogre Magi, and true to the image that we see here, Ogre Magi's got 2 heads. And what that means is that sometimes he's just gonna cast one of his spells when you cast it twice. That's what this alt is, multicast. It's not even, I can't, if I press R, which is the normal alt button, it doesn't even do anything. So sometimes when I click this stun, instead of stunning him once, it's gonna stun him for 3 seconds because of my multicast. It has a 2 times chance is 75%. So 75% of the time, I'll multicast. And what that makes that particularly good. So right now I'm tanking the towers. I just bloodlusted our ally, which increases their attack speed and their movement speed by quite a bit. Alright, so now we're running around. I want to give my ally mana, so I did that. And now we're trying to take this tower really fast. anyways, so because of that, I want this item called, like this particular item called the Hand of Midas. What Hand of Midas does is I can click on an enemy, not an enemy player, but an enemy minion. Or a neutral minion, like one of the ones that lives in the forest here that we haven't seen yet because I'm a support and I don't really do that. And if I use it on them, I just turn them into gold. Instant gold for me. And it kills them instantly. With my multicast, I might turn 2 or 3 enemies into gold, which means lots of gold for Eric. And so I'm building that particular item first. Alright, well I built these boots first, just so I could get more mana, because mana is really important. If I don't have mana to cast my spells, I'm useless. So we're gonna build that, but that's kind of expensive.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna head to middle here, and because Ember Spirit is here, and we have mana boots, so we're gonna give them mana, and we're gonna try to kill one of these guys. Oops, I wanted to. Well, now there's no one here, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ward. I had this ward the whole game, and I'm only just now placing it. It's usually good to hold on to your wards for a little bit, because in the early game there's not a lot of roaming. But now you're just looking at our mini-map, which I know that the audience can't see because our faces are covering it up. But on the mini-map you can see, like, you can see, oh, okay, I gotta move. My ally's about to get into a fight right there. Hopefully, we'll get there in time to help our ally, hopefully. We want to try to. We're gonna go this way and try to cut him off. We're so slow. Oh, well, we came to help, and then our ally died. Oh wait, did they die? No, they didn't. Shoot. Nobody died. Okay. Let's try to harass that guy. Okay. All right. So what this means is that they fortified it, so that means it can't take damage for a little bit. There we go. But now you see it, like 4 of our members are here, and that makes it really easy, A, to win fights, at least against like one other person, right? But it also makes it easy to take the tower. And so I just took a little bit of that farm. I really want to build my Hand of Midas here. We just gave them all some extra mana. And so you can see how these mana boots are a very good... Alright, this is a super stomp. Wow. We're just winning this game so well. So I'm gonna... Oh, wait.
I want to heal.
There we go. So I just did a little trick there, but what the little trick I just did is that when the tower's attacking you, if you auto-attack one of your minions, it'll unattack you. Because it thinks that you're, like, I don't know exactly the math or the reasons behind it. But we healed up a little bit, so that's good. Someone must have Vlad's, I think. Let me look. Yep, he does. So that Vlad's he has, okay, so we're going to buff him up. So now he's attacking faster, and I guess we can even help out a little. I don't want him to die. These are like the strongest jungle creeps, and so we're kind of low level for doing these. All right, so now we won that. Now we're gonna go back in and kill more enemies. All right, I know they don't even need me to support them here. They're just doing so much damage, it doesn't matter. But normally it would be my job to stun them so that the rest of my allies can jump on them. This is legit going to probably be over though, and like this might be a 20-minute game. Because we've really dominated. This is not how a normal game will go. But and I'm sorry, it's hard for me to talk. So do you have any questions? What are you seeing? How are you seeing people interact?
When you choose characters, does it, if there's not enough support, if there's not enough tanks, if there's not enough like healers, like if it's not an even party, does the game force players to choose different options?
No, it does not. It's totally freedom, but your teammates will flame you.
Yep.
This guy's dead. And so what we just saw there was it wasn't a pure. So a stun lock is where like I've got a stun. Oh, that's gonna kill me. No. Okay, run.
So then, how do people usually learn the typical like decorum of playing a game like this?
I'm dead. Ooh, okay. So we're gonna TP back home.
I think of someone who's just getting into video games, and they want to play Dota 2. And they want to have a good time. So they only know how to play one player.
You just practice a lot, really, and you call your role right away. So you say, like, So I would say for a new player, always try to just play support for the first while, because then there's just less riding on your shoulders. It's a little easier to play supports. Not that supports aren't important, but it's just a little easier to play supports in general. But it just takes a lot of experience. So, like, I can just say I know that this is kind of like a half carry. I know that he's a support / carry. I know that he's a carry, and I know that they're a carry. And because I just know those things, so I just turned them into gold, which is what I talked about before. And so because I know those things, I was able to like just look at our team comp when like they had all 4 picked and they needed me to pick. I knew that we needed a more support. This guy is not playing. I need to be playing better. That's really what I'd say. So we're gonna buy a bunch of wards. Wards are just so important. You get picks on the map. In a game where, like this game, we're stomping. So it's like, even if they were to like jump on these 2 here, like as 3 or 4, I think we might still win the fight. And we just caught out their Huskar in the jungle. He might not die because, oh, Ember Spirit's got a pretty big root. Kill this dinosaur. Thank you for the money. Nice. And then we'll give our friend some money, or some mana. All right. And so now I've got some wards. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start placing. So the blue ward that I'm placing is called an Observer ward, and the white and that allows you to see invisible things, including wards, which are invisible.
Is there a story mode?
There is no story mode. But sorry, to answer your question from before, the advice I give a new player is just play the game a bunch. You'll get used to, like, it's esoteric. Oop. There we go. Come on, place the ward. There we go. They're chasing our ally here, so we're gonna run up and try to get behind him. But he doesn't need us. Kind of a funny game. We'll actually probably have time for another game because it's only 1:30. So yeah.
How many towers are there?
There's outer tower, and inner tower. Then there's the ones on the high ground. Oops. We gotta back up for a second. Jeez, we're taking a lot of damage this game. But that's okay. We're a support. We're like, if someone's gonna die, it should be us. That's how I would put it. But there's not really a story mode. There's definitely a story. Like, these characters have like backgrounds and stuff. That's kind of explored in, like, if you read their character profile. But there's not like a story mode or anything that I'm really aware of. There might be occasionally. I definitely didn't need that, but that's okay. Alright, so our allies are over here taking these racks. So yeah, let me explain what these are. So like, there's 3 towers and then there's these racks. And what the racks are is when you take them out, they give you stronger minions. And so then, like, once we get like these racks or like these ones, this ring will perpetually push in our direction, as opposed to before where it was just even. So it's important. So taking a racks like puts you at a really big advantage.
I might want to do it.
There's not really an option to just heal, unfortunately. So instead, we just kind of hang out with low HP. And the nice thing is we have pretty high HP regeneration. We have this guy Juggernaut. He has a healing ward, and that little ward will heal us up a little bit. But our character doesn't have a healing ability.
Okay.
Oh. I'm probably dead, but so I'll just buff my ally and then run. Hey, we didn't die.
Nice.
So then I'll put down another ward here, even though it doesn't really matter. But now we can see invisible units in this area. The problem is that none of our enemies are playing with invisible units. Alright, so now I want to use my hand of gold, turn a bunch of them into... So normally that would only hit 1 enemy, but you see it keeps hitting 2 for me because of my multi-attack.
Do you want to buy stuff so your enemy doesn't get that gold?
They won't get all of it, and we're about to win.
Okay.
Normally I would go, okay, I want my Aether Lens. Aether Lens would particularly increase the range of my abilities, and we can see I don't have very long range on like my stun. This one has a long range. This one has an okay range, but having a long range on a stun is really important. What are my allies doing? Get over here! Help me! The Drow is trying to kill me. Our allies are trying to style. They're just trying to kill the enemy in their base. I want to just win, so I'm just trying to kill this thing. So yeah, once you kill this, the game is over. And that's a game of Dota 2. But anyway, so you always want to take these racks. But one thing to note is that the racks is on a high ground. and you can't see up a high ground, which gives it a strong defender's advantage because somebody needs to actually walk up there in order for the fight to occur. And as we kind of saw in StarCraft, the person moving in is always at a disadvantage because the other person gets to attack first and gets to use their abilities first. And so this is, you can vote for an MVP. I'm going to say this Ember Spirit was the MVP for me because he rotated down into our lane and got a bunch of kills, and he won his lane pretty hard. But I think maybe I was the MVP, but you can't vote for yourself. And then you can see the stats here. So you can see how much gold each player had. You can see how many last hits they had. You can see how much damage they dealt, how much damage they received. In this case, we can see our Ember Spirit did 25,000 damage to hero. Play Scholar. In this case, we can see who did the most damage, and we can see that really no one on the enemy team really did much. Let's go ahead and play another game. I didn't think we would have time to play 2, but that was a particularly quick game. It was under 20. Under 20 minutes is insane. Normally, a game is going to last 30 plus minutes, and the game we're going to watch today is 50 minutes long. And so I think that we have about 35 minutes until we'd have to start that and watch the whole thing, and we can always fast forward it a little bit so that way we can make sure we get the whole game in time. So
sounds good.
Yes, that was a past one. Oh, you're the one who said that. Let's drink some water. So that's like the gist of Dota 2. So what questions do you have just watching like the first, like a really quick game, but a game nonetheless?
I mean, one thing that just gets me is player expectations. So with team games, yes, it's good that you have other people to support you. But at the same time, there's an expectation that you know what to do when you're in that. Even when you are, quote unquote, like noob and you talk about like, oh, I'm new on the thing. But even still, there's
Don't tell
that
people
pressure.
you're new when you play
No,
these games.
I know. But, you know, stuff like that. Like, I'm just trying to think, like, this is, what's the rating on this?
What do you mean by rating?
Game rating. Like, is it E for everyone? Is it...
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
It's an online game, so it gets a little funky. It's an online free-to-play game. I would say that a big thing that you can do is you can play against bots. And I would like and playing against bots is a really good way to learn the game because you're just trying to learn the basics. The other thing to note is that if you're used like all these MOBA games, I'm not saying they're all the same. There's actually very profound differences
so it's
between them.
But even still, like a 13-year-old getting on this
and then getting called, a little shithead or something like that.
And that which is
well, that's because online interactions are not rated by the ESRB.
No, I know that too. But even still, like, you know, I was playing Overwatch, and most of the party was like adult. But then there was this one like clearly 12, 13-year-old kid. And luckily everyone was oh man, that I just like tepid milk and cold milk.
They must be queuing together.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're not on our team. We have Master Chief and Fastlight. And Ice Frog. That's actually the name of the maker of the game. I'm sure this is not the creator of the game who's playing with us. Though, wouldn't that be something?
Because I just think a lot about online interaction on games like this. And just the culture of flaming. So, and I know that like we can't, that's not what this is, you know, this, what was I gonna say? Stream is for. But even still, like if this is a game that has such renown and you can literally win money playing tournaments in this, and then you have people who want to learn but then don't because they've just been flamed so hard and don't return to this game. I just think a lot about that.
Yeah, that's definitely in danger when it comes to where's safe lane. We'll play safe lane. Someone else might call safe lane support. But that's definitely like a worry when it comes to these games. Is like the teams might not.
Which esport games are suitable for children? BritishEsports.org.
Yeah, I would say that like, if for a child, I would really suggest playing for someone like under the age of 13, more single player games. And if you're gonna play competitive games, I would suggest playing 1v1 games because those games teach you a greater sense of responsibility, or just play with your friends, right? Like actually get 4 or 5 friends and just play with them, right? Because then you have the whole squad, right?
Yeah.
And being with one other friend helps with the whole flaming thing, because it's like your friend can be like, that guy's being a jerk, right? If you're playing by yourself and someone's being a jerk to you, that can be demoralizing. But a friend might be able to be like, show a little perspective, right? I've definitely been flamed for not playing well. I try very hard not to flame other people when I play. Unfortunately, the friend I play with actually does flame people quite a bit when they play really bad. He doesn't flame them. He's like a more constructive criticism, but maybe in like a unsolicited kind of way. So like he'll be like, you really need to be buying wards, or like kind of giving like advice like that, like or don't go in, wait for them to come to us, like kind of giving like advice like that. Typically I'm a pretty quiet player. Like the last time I remember like maybe I flamed someone is we were playing in a game where it was somebody's first time playing and they had literally never played Dota before, and they said that right up front. And all we said is, next time maybe just play a game with bots instead of playing with us, because they were like, we lost the game because they died so many times. Like no matter, even though we won our lane, we still like got totally crushed because there's a concept called feeding. And what feeding is where like you just keep dying unless you're feeding the enemy, giving them extra resources. So like that is a danger. But I'd say like team games are also good for new competitive players, because they reduce your responsibility. If you're not very good and you're trying to learn a game, it can be nice to not feel like the whole game relies on just me playing well, right? Like we saw in that last game, even though I did have a good game, I had like 15 assists and only 1 death, which is really, really good. Ultimately, it didn't... I do not have a Twitter. But ultimately, it didn't matter that I played very well, because I had a teammate who was playing even better. So we're playing with... Wait a minute. I called safe. Whoops. So we're gonna support this Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger's a super carry. They have like all their stuff is just all about buffing their auto attacks. I think I'm gonna take my stun here, because my stun allowed my allies to do more damage. And we're just gonna keep chasing, because they can't stay here, and I can stay here and try to get this. Yeah, I didn't get it. That's too bad. But my hero has the highest base health in the game at level 1. And so... I definitely don't mind taking some hits here. It looks like I might die, but we'll see. We'll see. We're just trying to run. We'll eat a tree. We'll keep running. That guy's gonna keep chasing.
Can you stun Bounty Hunter one more time? Leave.
We're okay. We're okay, buddy.
Perfect. Oh, I'm probably dead.
So this guy's pretty communicative, which is nice. But our hero is actually very good at right away, because he has very high base health and very high base damage. He doesn't scale very well, and that's why he's a support. But that's why I wasn't afraid to just take a bunch of damage there. Even though I got hit a lot, you saw I still didn't even die, which is nice. I took stun at level 1, which I don't know if that was the right play. This does so much damage at level 1. It just does a lot of damage. And so there was an argument to be made that I should have taken that right away instead of the stun. But taking the stun was good in that situation because I had 2 allies, and so I don't know why he didn't get that last hit. And so now we're just playing the game. And so last game we were in off lane, which meant that the lane, like the natural equilibrium of the lane, pushed towards our opponent's base. Now we're in safe lane, which means that, as we can see, we're like under tower just hitting our minions, right? And so that's because this character, the Drow Ranger, that's on our team, she's like a hard carry, and what that means is like they're we just need to. don't have any more stuns, dude. Oh well.
Backseat gaming.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. He's not doing anything really egregious.
Yeah.
He's just like, I can't understand it very well because we're listening
Yeah.
via the TV.
Yeah.
All right, I can kill this meatball.
Oh.
I think that'll kill him unless he tangos. Yeah, we got him.
Nice.
And I got him, so that means I got the gold. This gives me easy boots right away, and and then that gets me closer to mana boots, which is really important. All right, Meeple's on his way back. Oof, Drow just went for like an auto attack under a tower and just took a lot of damage. So it's important here that I get back because I want his minions to run forward. Oh yeah, I should have been blocking these minions from walking forward. Alright. I want to harass that bounty hunter. The question is, do I want to use... So like, I gotta really watch my mana here because I want to make sure I always have a stun up. Because my stun is just so good for like, if someone mispositions, I just stun them instantly and we can do some stuff. But we're doing well. We got a kill in lane, which is super important. I don't understand what he's saying. I have to tell him that I'm having trouble understanding him. It's about time to put down a ward.
Oop.
It's okay. That guy's not really that threatening. But now there's two of them, which is kind of annoying. Oop. That guy can become invisible, which is annoying. So I'll have to get observer wards, like stuff that can see invisible heroes. And I'll have to stick close to my drow because that way if he pops up I'll try to instantly stun him. So now Meeple makes copies of himself, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So we're just going to try to beat up some of the copies while we can. Ooh, shoot. Okay. And we'll just tango and get some extra stuff. We're pretty far off from being able to buy our mana boots, but we'll get there eventually. So no, we want to keep a track of the timer because at 5 minutes runes are going to be coming up, and runes give everyone on our team money. And so you saw last game, like I got killed trying to go for runes. I should stay close for a little bit longer. I should wait until like about, well, this Meeple's being so aggressive. Oh, I don't have the mana for anything. Oh, that's a dead draw ranger. Ah. Oh yeah, I guess if you kill one Meeple, you kill them all. It's good to know. I don't have mana. Oh, darn it, this little red minion is following me, which means they know that I'm going for these bounty runes, but I'm still gonna go for it anyways. It could be my death.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I'm dead. I also needed to stop at the secret shop here to get, because of my mana boots, I can't buy one of the core things, this, without it. So, yeah, I'll have to go there. I'll have to go there. Oh, but we do want to grab, we grabbed a rune, the ward that can see invisible things, which will just help us. Oh wait, shoot, what am I doing? I can teleport there. Beyond. In League, you have to walk back. In Dota, you can... Alright, so Witch Doctor's here, so we just want to back off. Stun him. Blow him up. Buff our ally. Should have done it in a different order, but that's okay. We just use all of our mana to cast three things. You see, even if I do a lot of damage, you can see kind of why this guy's a support a little bit, because like, once I use all my stuff, I don't have much left. I need to tell him I'm having trouble understanding him at some point. Okay. We just had an ally come up here. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of annoyed. Crowds would die again. Their whole team came up this way. I'm gonna die. Whoa, that Witch Doctor did a lot of damage. Holy guacamole. I really need my mana boots, man. This is annoying. Okay. We'll buy another invisible ward and that'll be it for now. I really need. I do have a TP available, which is good. Let's just go ahead. Alright. Okay, so we haven't been talking much. So, Kelly, you need to talk.
That's fine.
Wait, why isn't our lo-fi hip hop radio should at least be playing? There we go. Now I feel calm and relaxed and ready to crack some skulls. You do a lot of killing in serious play.
So you said that one guy was pretty chatty. And sometimes, like, when I'm just thinking mostly when I play Overwatch, like, sometimes it's fun when people chat and, like, call shots because it helps, you know, keep you on track. But then there's, like, a fine line between backseat gaming and calling shots. And then in addition to that, like, sometimes I hate when I see people's, like, mic things pop on, like, because they breathe and then the mic picks it up, and it's not, like, the breathing that bothers me, but it's just like, oh, everyone here is on mic, but no one's saying hello to each other.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's, you know, that it's like an awkward thing on team play because I'll never talk first in chat.
Yeah.
So is there like a microphone etiquette to Dota?
No, I've heard people eating. I hear all sorts of weird stuff on the microphone. A lot of people don't use their microphones while they're playing too, and so.
Are there any esports that are particularly microphone heavy?
Just Counter-Strike, which we'll play probably next week. Counter-Strike is so mic heavy, it's obnoxious. This has been a pretty chill game. Oh shoot, 10-minute runes. So I control clicked there, or alt clicked the. So I lit that guy on fire. Or was it ignite? It's kind of like you launch an napalm on him or something. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. This game doesn't have really much etiquette. In most games, I'd say etiquette just doesn't really exist on mic. I'm trying to think of a game where the only game I can think of where there's like a lot of etiquette is StarCraft. StarCraft, it's pretty common to see like a good luck, have fun, and definitely a GG at the end. Not saying that it always happens, but especially in competitive play. Oh my god.
Wasted some mana on a.
Well, he went invisible at the very last second, which is my fault. I could have seen him if I just used this ward. That's okay. So now we have invisible room right here, and that'll help see enemies. Your vision. Okay. Well, one of those is clearly an illusion because it has no health. They're both illusions. That's okay. I don't have any mana. I can't do anything about that. I need to. Oh jeez. They're going to try to kill our courier. I'm dead. At least I can. He's a lot faster than me. I tried to help. Maybe if I had run away, I might have gotten another stun off. my character has a silence, which makes it so that they can't use their abilities. Which is very strong.
Yeah. What was the first game to use silence to describe?
I don't know. Probably Warcraft. Okay, let's see. I have 580 stuff. That's all I'm gonna do here. Okay. What are our allies doing? Tiny top shot.
I mean, I know that it was Final Fantasy 1 had it, so when was Warcraft? Oh well, not gonna go on a spray on that.
Can you boost me, please, real quick? And then form another. Help other players I need to farm. I'm behind.
Right now I'm just trying to put up some wards on the map. So we have better vision.
What was I gonna say? Stats in this. You could check out, because you said at the end of the game you can look at that. Is that a reflect, like, does it accurately reflect a good game?
Yeah, to some degree. I'm dead. I'm so dead.
Wow.
We did not expect them all to be there. We had a ward here, which wasn't... we needed a ward like here to see that. Oh, that was bad. Okay. It's okay. Why does it keep... Error occurred? That keeps happening. Try a different lo-fi hip-hop radio. Maybe we should do it through via Spotify. That would actually probably work just fine. If it goes away again. Teleport to the middle there. And I have no clue what to do. I guess we'll just follow
and then
around
another,
Power Ranger. Yeah, go ahead.
Leaving games mid-match.
That is definitely a taboo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, no, I know that,
geez.
but does it happen? Like, if you leave a game mid-match, does it count against your win-lose?
Yes, it's an auto loss, even if your team wins. And I'm on my way here, but I'm late. I'm so late. Let me see the Lena. There we go. Alright, so we got the kill there. And we got team. I'm gonna... If I can get close enough, I can stun him. I can get the. I got a stun in 2 seconds. Buff my allies. I got the buff off. That should mean a one-team fight. Yeah, they have a lot of invisible heroes. So what I'm gonna have to do is buy more sentries, but also there's this dust of appearance, and a dust of appearance gives you 2 uses, and I think.
It's 102 specific stuff.
Okay. All right. So I'm having trouble understanding him. He's asking me to do something. Okay, so they just give some context for what I'm doing, why am I making decisions. So why am I buying the items I'm buying? That's always a good question. So I bought 2 Sentry Wards to see invisible units and this Dust of Appearance, which reveals and slows invisible heroes in a radius around me. So I just bought those things because they have 2 heroes who become invisible a lot, and we want to be able to see them.
Mm-hmm.
So otherwise, I'm just trying to get some last hits in because there's no one here. I'm having trouble. My guy attacks really slow. He doesn't do very much damage either. Oh man, an ally just died. Getting some money, getting paid. Give me that Aether Lens. Okay. Ally just died at the top. So I'm heading down to kind of help my allies out here. They're both really low. This is kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to hang out like back here, and maybe I should put down like a sentry ward like right here. That way, if any invisible heroes try to come up and beat us up, we can kill them. They're looking to take mid right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a mana regeneration rune, which is good.
Nice.
A void stone, but it basically doubled my mana regen, which is good. All right, now that we got that, I'm TPing here because I see that this person is here, and they're I don't want them to die. So it looks like a team fight was brewing here. So you gotta keep your eye on the mini map very often. I kind of want to. I want to put it more forward. I got the sentry ward, so I'm kind of willing to like put it like here, but I'm waiting. Our allies are just getting some kills in their jungle, which is good.
So, play Scholar X. So why Dota?
Why is it named Dota, or why are we playing Dota?
Playing, I think. Besides the theme of the month. What makes Dota a good esport?
Dota's like the most complicated MOBA, so that's what I like about it. Yeah, wait. That's gonna darn it. Ooh, that thing. That's his ult.
Tepid milk.
So. All right. Wards. We need wards. Okay. I bought lots of wards there, so that's good. Now I still need to buy this. So I need 600 gold to finish my Aether Lens, and then that'll be good. But so I like Dota in particular because I find Dota to be more complex and interesting than the other games. Also, I think Valve is a better company than Riot is. I think Riot Games is a company that I kind of don't really want to play their games. I know all companies have their bad spots, but Riot's treatment of women kind of turns me off to them. What I find interesting about Dota in terms of like what makes it more complex is that Dota, like for instance, we talked about this already, but you can like attack your own creeps. You can't do that in the other MOBA games. And like so, like that's just one example, but like there's just a lot of examples of like in League for the most part, items are pretty linear. Like it's just like this item gives you more attack speed. In Dota, items are pretty dynamic. Like items will not only give you passive buffs, but they often have active abilities, which means that you can curate your character to a much higher degree in game to adjust to what your opponent's doing, which I think offers higher strategic depth. Oh, I'm dead. I better run.
Well, it was nice knowing you.
It's okay. I didn't die. I'm just trying to place wards. Because, like, basically that's kind of like my job to some degree, is to get wards across the map. And the reason why is wards cost money, and I'm a support, so I don't need as much money, so I get those. I find that also Dota is much looser in terms of like what heroes work in what roles and stuff. I would say in like League, ooh, there was an invisible hero just there. That's kind of funny. It looks like there's a team fight brewing up here. Get him, Windranger, run! This is okay.
Oh.
I'm okay.
Are you though?
No. I mean, teammates. Cool, we can get our Aether Lens. Oh, we can't. Alright. So we turned our mana boots. We took one of the items that was part of it. We unlocked it, we disassembled it, and then we made this Aether Lens, which gives us more mana regen, but also higher range, which is really important because we really want to be able to stun enemies, and we have to be. Right now it's too close. Now look at how long it is now.
Yeah.
And here I'll just I can't disassemble this, or I don't know why, but it's just a lot longer than it was before. But so like I just find Dota has a lot more systems in it that allow for more interesting combinations of gameplay. It gets old a little less fast. League also has a more linear kind of play, because League has really standardized. So like we're just playing pubs, which is like public like games in like it just like regular games unranked. But like so we're playing like 2, 1, and 2. In Dota though you can do like 3, 1, 1. You can like there's like different ways. In League it's almost universally the same strategy of 1, 1, 2, and then you have a jungler. And then in League the heroes are much more prescribed in terms of their okay, so the whole other team is up there, so we should take a tower somewhere and do something. I don't know, or at least I could go down here and like ward. But Dota has like more systems. There's a lot of things I like personally about Dota more. I can see why someone would like League more. I think League's art style is cooler, and so like that is definitely something that's like better about that particular game. Give me there we go. Ooh, and we want to try to eliminate. So we just saw their wards, so now we can take them out. And we actually got some gold for that too.
Nice.
So that's good. And so those are some reasons that I particularly. Our teammates are going in trying to kill this witch doctor, which is good. That witch
League has more archetypal characters.
What do you mean by archetypal characters?
Oh, let's play Scholar.
Oop, I want to stick with our teammates.
But I'm guessing, like, if this is the character you play, this is your role. That's what I think.
It seems like to me, it's more like this character was designed to be a jungler, and so you can't play this character in any other way.
And then like certain characters that fit certain roles that fit with the high fantasy narrative.
To some degree, I'm more just talking about in League. It's very much like we designed this character to be a support, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to play this hero in any other role except for that. Whereas I find in this game, did I use 2 dusts? What the heck? Oh man. Well, when he pops out of that, I'm going to stun him. Ah, darn it, I missed it. That's okay. Our minions are going to take care of this. And 4 of them are dead, so we're just going to try to push it. I think we could take more. So I pinged this to be like, hey, let's go take this. I got a good stun off on him, but it didn't matter. I don't have any ways to see invisible units right now. Ooh, and I'm taking a lot of damage from towers, so let's go ahead and back off. We do. Where's my drow? The drow is the one I want to get my bloodlust on the most. Okay, so now we're gonna back off. Now I want to be the last one, because if I die, it doesn't matter. And if they're attacking me, then all my teammates who are doing way more damage get to attack. So now I have a ton of money, so we're gonna go ahead and do
Yep. And Play Scholar asks, so what lends Dota more flexibility in what your character can do mechanically?
It's just more freedom of design. Kits are designed in more of a loose way. So like, for instance, here, I'll explain. There's a hero in League called Braum. I love playing Braum. I generally love playing supports, as what we're doing in this game. Let me just very quickly decide what I want to buy here. Let's go with Eggheim first. And I want to get the mana booster, but I can't get down there. So I'll have to do it. All right. So Braum is a really cool hero who I really like, but Braum has like this big shield, and like every time he attacks an enemy, it puts a little debuff on them, and if allies attack that enemy, it helps. It'll like slow them down and stuff. and like he's got a big shield that he can put up in front of allies and stuff like that. Like all of these little things that all just mark him as like he's a support. He can't do much on his own. He needs to have allies in order to be effective. So he has to be a support. Meanwhile, there's a character like Vayne who only has like attack damage abilities, and as a result, Vayne has to be played as a particular kind of carry. There's no flexibility for that. In Dota, on the other hand, like even like a hero like Timbersaw, who's generally going to be seen as a carry, he's still got a slow. He's still got this like ability where he shoots around the map and stuff. So he can be played in like a variety of roles. Like he could be played as just buying some items. He can be played as like as maybe not a 5. There's number labels 1 through 5 for your heroes in Dota. 1 is the hero who needs the most gold. 5 is the hero who needs the least, right? So I would say Timbersaw, who we have here, can be played as a 2, 3, or 4. My character, Ogre Magi, can be played as probably a 3, 4, or 5. This hero, Enchantress, can definitely play as 1 through 5. Like, they could literally be any of them. Wind Ranger, definitely also another hero, very flexible, can be a 1 through 5, depending on how your team is composed and stuff like that. And so to me, just like the fact that heroes have kits that aren't just designed to be played in one particular kind of fashion. Instead, they have kits that tend to be more designed around. Let's go ahead and take this haste rune. Makes it fast for just a little bit, which will help us with warding here. I want to ward here. Let me put down the other ward. Oh god, get out of here! I have the haste rune, but he's blocked me up. Oh, but Timbersaw to my rescue, my hero! You gotta kill him in this stun, probably. Well, we can see the invisible ones over here because of my ward from earlier. That's good, I'm about to die. And I probably could have ran away. Let's see how this fight goes. Wind Ranger just got a kill. Timbersaw, kill the Witch Doctor! Yeah! Alright, Timbersaw, go, go, go!
So we got some question crossing. What does that play into your argument about how class shouldn't be all your character is?
Yeah, that's what I value in games. I value being able to I value flexibility a lot as a person. And so, yeah, good job, Kill. And, good job, team. Let's go ahead and buy more words. Just buy lots and lots of words because I'm the support. Yes, I think the difference for me is that in Dungeons & Dragons, class is literally just a mechanic for the gameplay. Whereas in this, and then there's a story you're telling around it. And so to me, I don't like it when someone's like, I'm a rogue, so I am, like, my character is this, right? When they are like, you're a rogue, so I'm going to treat you like you are this. I don't like that kind of prescribed thing. But that's because I view Dota, or D&D, as being a role-playing experience. In this game, it's a little different because this game is really the combat, right? I'm not playing a role, or I'm not playing a different. I'm not pretending I actually am Ogre Magi, right? I'm Eric. Yeah. I'm controlling Ogre Magi. Let's go ahead and we want to ward. This is a good place to ward up here, so we're gonna ward it. And so those things to me, like it's kind of a difference, but I still in general value versatility. I want to be able to feel like I have options for like how the game is going to progress outside of just I pick this character, now I'm a support. In fact, some games, like one of my favorite heroes in this game, which I won't be playing today, his name is Abaddon. And we saw him, that was one I was doing the last hitting with at the beginning. Abaddon's like this super tanky hero. He's one of those heroes who can be like 3 through 5. Like he has a lot of different roles he can play. And so like sometimes I'll start out thinking I'm going to be supporting, and then I just end up
tanking?
End up tanking a lot, end up carrying in my own way. And so, to me, I like that flexibility, and I think and it helps a lot in the pick and ban phase, because like you don't even know, like when you see the enemy, like you're like, I don't know who's playing what lane, you know what I mean? Necessarily. Some heroes like Sniper, like this hero named Sniper, he basically has to be played in he has to be played as a 1 or a 2, and stuff like that. But so, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. I hope I answered your question, Play Scholar.
And I was just opening at the Pegasus or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's our courier who brings us items on the map. You can't kill a courier, which can be good. It's really not as impactful though. Sometimes people will see courier and go crazy and make some big. Oh, dust. So I cast dust. I think that'll make it so invisible hero will be visible. Oh man.
Oh.
It's okay. I got my whole team here. Just come on, try to kill me. There we go. Meepo can be dangerous, but if one dies, they all die. So,
yeah.
like, you have to be careful, and he's not being as careful as he could be. Now is a good time for us to push up and try to... Alright, so I want to buff my ally. And I want to... I put down a visible and our award here to see invisible units, so that way it's easy for us to chill out here. Where's the Drow? Is Drow here? Where the heck is... Oh, Drow. Wait. There's Drow. Alright, so... we go ahead and buff the Drow. This is really good. I don't know if we'll be able to push to end the game right here. And this is like... Oh, geez. Look how much...
Wow.
I didn't need to die there, but I wasn't paying attention. That's okay.
It happens. So
Okay, I'm glad I answered your
respawn?
question, Play Scholar. It gets higher the higher level I am.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was the more you died or...
And you have this option to spend money to buy back, but once you do that, then a buyback timer comes and you can't do it again.
Okay.
And so there's this thing called dieback, and what dieback is you buy back and then die right away again. And that's not very good. So we took out 1 Rax, and that means that the lane will always be pushing against them, but kind of slowly. But they have to worry about this lane now, because it's just going to keep pushing against them. I need to drink some water for a sec. This is a more typical game of Dota. We're definitely winning as a team, as you can tell by so if you look at the map, which nobody at home can see, but if you look at the map, you can see like here there's a turret, here there's a turret, and we still have all of our inner turrets here, and they've lost. They don't have one there. They've lost this one. They lost that one in a barracks, and they lost this one too. So they're down to only the ones inside their base, which gives us a pretty big advantage. And if we look at the KDA, we've killed 41, they've only killed 29. So not only do we have all this extra gold from killing, but we also have the extra gold from the towers as well. Huh?
They lost their resources as well from those kills.
Exactly. So, you know, it's complicated. Sometimes you can, I will note that sometimes you can be winning in kills and be losing in gold. And the reason why is because one team could be farming better, like killing the minions across the map a lot better, more. Oh, I should have bought a ward there, but that's okay. They've cleared out a lot of my wards, or my wards have just expired because it's been so long. Go ahead and just place a ward up here in the high ground. We still have we still have this dust of appearance, which is useful. Yeah. So the way that League does it, I want to know, isn't necessarily wrong or even bad. It's just not the way that I prefer to play these kind of games, where like your hero has like a more linear kind of game plan. I kind of enjoy. Oop, runes just came up, so I'm gonna go grab those runes. Though he just got grabbed on, but he's Timbersaw, so he might be able to get out.
So Play Scholar asks, what do you need to buy as you play? So we talked about
like purchase in real life.
I think items. But one thing that I forget which one we were talking about was it actually was kind of in, like in Smash where certain combos work at certain health percentages. Does what you buy in the shop change as the game goes on?
Yes. So generally, you're just gonna be slowly buying more expensive items. Early game items, like there are a lot of items in the early game that are particularly good. Like in the early game, but they don't upgrade into other weapons. Like for instance, this thing, the Blade of Alacrity, gives me plus. I just want to note, I just got all 4 runes by myself. Nice. That's pretty funny. That's because they were all fighting each other, like in the middle of the map. But so like this item is not particularly.
That's sucks.
I have an ally here. We have Dust of Appearance when he pops up. Ah, we lost him. Well, are we gonna chase? I don't really want to chase. I'm so close to having my really good item. But so this item is not particularly cost efficient by itself, but it builds into this Aghanim Scepter, which is one of the best late game items. So there definitely is like a slowly over the course of the game, you're buying like better items. So let's just look at the item I'm about to buy. I'm gonna get it when I have 1,000 gold. And so the Aghaim Scepter costs 4,200. It gives me plus 10 in all attributes, which is the 3 big ones: strength, agility, and intelligence. It gives me 175 health, 175 mana, and it gives me an upgrade to my ultimate ability. In this case, it gives me a new ability called Unrefined Fire Blast. So Fire Blast is my stun. Unrefined Fire Blast is the same thing, but it costs a lot of my mana. It costs 60% of whatever my current amount is. So what I want to do is I want to blow all my stuff, have low mana, and then use this.
Okay.
But it gives me 2 stuns in a row now. And so you can see how that really is a really good thing for my character in particular. Now I just want to hang out with my allies. I do not have much in the way of support items right now, which is not great. So that's an instance of like a thing that I want to buy. So boots are a thing that everyone is going to go for in the early game generally, because they're just a flat movement speed increase is really important. It's because speed is just, it helps you get away from bad things. It helps you get towards where you need to go. We're gonna stick with this timber saw, and then he's gonna adjust. Let's go ahead. I don't know exactly what. So the kinds of, and it depends on your who you are too. Like for me, I'm Ogre Magi, so I'm just looking for more support items. So these are like recommended items from a guide that I'm using from. That's one of the cool things about this game is like there's like guides for your hero, and you can click the guide you want, and then it will give you the items that you should probably get. And that helps streamline the experience for new players a lot, so I don't need to know, oh, we got to get in. I wasn't paying attention. It's really hard to play and talk at the same time. We're going to lose this team fight very likely. You guys, I don't have a way to... I just keep getting stunned. Oh, I was stunned for so long there.
Well, at least you were eating
All
all of the stun spells.
But now we can just go. We can push to do a lot because like 3 of them are dead. It's only Bounty Hunter who's kind of weak right now, and the Witch Doctor. It's also worth noting that some heroes are better in like the early game, and some heroes are better in the late game. So, for instance, we noted that our hero had really good baseline stats, so he's very good at right away. He doesn't really fall off though because he's got a stun. But like Wind Ranger here. That was really good. That was a dieback from them, so a bunch of them blocked back to try to win to stop us from taking this, which was the right play. But then they lost, which means now they don't have buyback, and we can probably push to win because you can see the timers here: 90 seconds, 50 seconds, 50 seconds, 50 seconds. 50 seconds is not that long in this game, so I'm gonna try to tank the towers because Enchantress can't take that much. Oh, the Witch Doctor is gonna kill me again. All right, this is a Amori's buyback, and we're going to teleport over as fast as we can. I really think we can win here if we work together. We got the Drow there. We only have to win like 1 team fight. I should have bought. I bought a bunch of support items just now, and I'll send the courier to get them to me, but it'll probably be too late. We'll probably win the game by then. Luckily, we have a lot of damage. Like Wind Ranger and Drow Ranger, as the names imply, are very good at shooting bows and killing things. We only have 6 seconds. We gotta do this fast. So they fortified the structure. So the second I see anyone, I want to kind of stick back a little bit, and I want to just stun anybody who shows up, like that. Buff an ally. To Drow just dive. So we really have to win right now. Okay. I died. Okay. We can win, guys. Just take down. This is really bad. They might just win on the. Our Enchantress is doing a lot though, so that's good. But she's about to die. Okay. They should all. None of them have buyback. Oh no. Uh-oh. The nice thing is we still have our outer towers, so they have to do a lot of work to get into the middle there, and the lane is pushing against them, and so over time, Oh, we were so close to winning. Oh, that's okay. All right, so we'll grab all these items, and but yeah. So let's look at the items. So we have 40 seconds. So like here we can see situational items, extension items. We're literally just gonna win. Okay, yeah. If Meepo doesn't come back and deal with this, look at how much damage like these guys do. They're pushing to win. I'll be back in 20. They'll be back in 20. They'll be back in 30. Okay. They're gonna get this, but I don't think they're gonna be able to get all the way here. I need to make sure that I don't die. See, the buyback timer is really long. It's 5 minutes here.
Jesus.
They're pushing to win. Me and Drow are back in 5, and Wind Ranger's back in 10. So that's probably gonna delay them enough. Okay, come on, Drow. Let's go. So I bloodlust them. That gives them extra attack speed. Kill the Slark. Oh, but my dust too. There we go. We got the kill. Like I said, I'm the support. If I die, it's not a big deal, but I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Again, I've been dead for a while now.
Yeah.
But we killed one of their carries, so that's really good. So now we're gonna stay here and we're just gonna heal up for a sec. We have quite a bit of money. Ghost Scepter could be the play. Yeah, we're in Ghost Scepter. Okay, so what Ghost Scepter does is it allows us to enter in a ghost form, and what that means is that we. Oh, good on our team. This is Roshan. You kill Roshan, you get some pretty nice stuff. Gold, but he also gives you this Aegis of the Immortal. And what that does is that you die, you come back in 4 seconds later. And so it gives you like a freebie for like dying, which is really useful. Okay.
Just the person that kills it or everyone?
No, it drops on the ground. You have to pick it up. It's an item.
Okay.
So they don't have it. Who has it? Does Drow have it? Who has the Aegis? It must be yellow. Enchantress, yeah. So when Enchantress dies, Enchantress we're fine with them playing up. Also, Bounty Hunter just died. Bounty Hunter's not very good, but that's still an advantage for our team. I don't like how low this Drow is. Do you have lifesteal? They don't have any lifesteal, which is not good. Alright, Meepo just died. They shouldn't have any buybacks. I do have a smoke. Oh, this is it. Alright, then we GG. So we won.
Solid.
Okay, so let's see, it's 2:26, so we're gonna speed through the first 15 minutes of this game and then end like this.
Sorry, I just
pro
read the
match.
last. Not on that.
Oh, what was it?
Not age appropriate.
Oh, I mean, we are a mature team.
That's true. I just said I like Hawk at the end, which I thought was gratuitous.
I'll give
and
it
funny.
the Enchantress, the MVP. But we won. That's pretty fun. We won both games today, which is nice. We usually lose a lot when we do these streams. All right, so we quick Dota 2, and we're going to switch over to this here, which is this is a grand final, game 5. So the winner of this game, and we'll go ahead and we'll turn off the volume. The winner of this game wins the TI, which is the international. It's the biggest tournament of the year and as you can see, we're speeding it up, and we'll speed it up until we get to about let me think, we have 30 minutes. The game will end around 50 minutes. So about the first 20 minutes of the game, we need to have a times 2 speed. All right, let me drink a drink of this. All right, so I'm just gonna try to do my best to give commentary. So we've got 5v5. We've got Navi on one side, Alliance on the other. So this is game 5 of a best of 5. So that means the winner of this game wins the international and literally $10 million. So they have Enigma. So I want to talk about Enigma for a second. Now you can't see him, but he's like this weird black hole guy, and his ultimate is black hole. Landing a good black hole is super crucial because it stuns enemies for a very long time, and it's a big AoE. but while he's doing it, he has to stand still. So it's kind of, there's a risk reward there.
Mm-hmm.
They also have Alchemist. Alchemist is a hero who loves to farm. His ultimate gives him this ability to like regen health really, really quick. You tell that this is from a couple of years ago, and that's like the tower is like in a slightly different place. The game is a little darker. Like the game is just a little different back then. We've got a Templar Assassin. That's going to be their super carry, and we see Bam. Oh, are they going to kill the they're going to kill the Alchemist? That's the question. He goes in the trees trying to hide. Oh, he's trying to sneak around. See how good he is. Like, look at how he's playing Ring Around Rosie, and he somehow got a kill there under the tower. Hence, tower diving can be dangerous. The Templar Assassin there's the Enigma. Templar Assassin's like a hard carry. She wants to auto attack a lot. So they want to get her a lot of farm. We got Rubik, that's one of the supports. We got Bat Rider, who's kind of like a 3, I think. The 4 is probably the Enigma. Ooh, they're going for him again. So let's just talk about this for just a sec. The reason why they're bullying this Alchemist so much, and this is going so fast, but well, it won't be going so fast later on. Is because it's a 1v3 lane, and so like they're hoping to gain advantages in other lanes by having this Alchemist here by himself. Ooh, and I think they just traded again. All right, so let's look. All right, so yeah, three heroes in this bot lane, 1v1 in the mid lane, and then it's 1v1 up here, I think. And it's just going too fast. We're just gonna slow it down. I can't commentate this. All right, so Alchemist is coming back to lane here. Let's look at the heroes for alliance. Puck is a support. He's got some pretty good supporty kind of abilities. I don't know if he's got a stun, but I think he's got a root. Crystal Maiden also has a good root. Chaos Knight makes copies of himself and does a pretty good stun. Wisp is like the preeminent support. So in this game, Puck is playing mid, which means that they're not playing him as a support, which is an example of like that's a hero who's traditionally a support, but not playing support here. But Wisp is this guy here, and they actually, in order to be effective, they must connect themselves to an ally. So this is closer to a League hero. Like League heroes have that kind of stuff. Wisp is kind of our Io, I think is the name. But I just always, it's like Io the Wisp. And they have Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet is an interesting hero because what Nature's Prophet can do is he can teleport around the map with one of his abilities, and he can turn trees into little ally minions. So he's very good at teleporting like up to top, turning trees into minions, and then rushing them onto a tower and then running away. And then so he just keeps doing that over and over and tries to slowly gain advantages over the course of the game. Here we see there's like a fight in mid lane. We saw that they just ate a tango. The Enigma here is actually jungling. He's just trying to take the neutral creeps out. And the Alchemist is very good at jungling because, as I noted before, his ultimate gives him tons of health regeneration.
Yep.
So it's a lot of the times it's easy to take these lane creeps because they're attacking each other. But when you attack these guys, they're gonna start attacking you. So you better have a way to deal with that. In this case, Enigma is able to summon little friends, as we can see, and they tank the fights. Or Alchemist has really good health regen. And so that's how they're planning on kind of jungling for a bit. And so you saw, because that Alchemist got jumped so much in the bottom lane, that's why why he's in the jungle now. The jungle is like less efficient for experience and gold, but it can be a lot safer because the enemy team is unlikely to try to. They're not going to spend a lot of time just looking for you in the jungle.
Yeah.
So here we got Nature's Prophet. He's farming up bottom lane right now. And in the early game, there's a lot of farming, but as we saw, there's a little bit of action with quite a bit of kills too. Bat Rider is a pretty interesting hero. He's got napalm that he can like spread behind him, and then he's got like a grappling hook he can grab somebody and pull them with. So the goal is like you pull them along your napalm, and they just keep taking damage and they can't help it.
Are there combos?
Tons of combos, absolutely. That was one of the things I slightly mentioned a game ago, but I was playing, so I think I cut myself short. But stun locks are really, really important. And what a stun lock is like if I have let's say a 3-second stun, and you have a 3-second stun. Well, if I hit him with a stun, and then right when that one's about to end, you stun him, he's stunned for 6 seconds. So that's like a very basic combo. But there's definitely...
That's a multi-person combo.
That one's a multi-person combo. Almost every well-designed hero in a Dota or League has inbuilt combos in their kit. In the case of, let's see, actually, like, these are heroes that I don't know particularly well. Rubik is really interesting. We'll get to him in a second. With Nature's Prophet, I think a natural combo for him it's not a combat combo, but like I was saying before, he can teleport around the map and turn trees into allies. And so that is just a natural way to split push, right? It's like push another lane, like teleport over there, split push, then get out of there. And that's like a very natural, that's a combo, but not in the same way. I would say compared to League, Dota has a less combos. Like in League, like there's like a lot of heroes who like have a very clear linear path on their abilities. Like they really want to do like a very popular League hero is called Ari, and she's got this charm that she shoots out, and then it forces the enemy is charmed, and they just like mindlessly follow Ari for like a second. But she has this orb that shoots out and then comes back in a straight line. So she wants to charm an enemy and then shoot the orb back, and then they're stuck following her so that the orb will hit them both on the way out and back on the way in. So that's like another natural combo in a game like League. Let's see. Alchemist is like an example of a hero who doesn't have very many inbuilt combos, because Alchemist's like he's got like 2 passive abilities, and then like but Alchemist, and he's got like a stun and stuff. So like let's see what's going on here. So there's the black hole, and like here it's just really good because they got to kill. And so one thing that can be really interesting in high level games, and we'll see this much later, but it's very interesting. Black hole is one of the most powerful abilities in the whole game because it's an AoE stun that lasts a long time. There's not very many of those, but the threat of black hole at the highest level is actually much greater than the actual black hole itself. The enemy team has to worry, well, if we all clump up, he'll black hole us. Yeah. Right? But they know that your black hole has like a minute-long cooldown. So once you use it, the other team's like, now we can go in, right? Yeah. So you have to be very careful because the threat of being able to use it is super, super important. And that's going to probably define what happens later on in this game. It's going to be like the red team Alliance, the red team Navi is going to be really concerned with trying to bait out that black hole or capitalize when it's off cooldown because it has such a long cooldown.
Are there team combos that are like important? Like, is there like we saw what was that one that had the ridiculous ranks? Oh, Hearthstone, where it had like the ranks of like, oh, if this person's playing, then you should play this deck. Or this.
Oh, you're talking about like counters, not right?
Well, I'm talking about like, so let's say there's a team of 5 heroes. Okay. And I know that at this point, with the amount of people that are there and times like 5, like the possibilities are virtually endless.
Yes, definitely. With over 100 heroes, there's gonna be 10 per game, right? Yeah. And so the amount of combinations that you can make is very high.
But is there like a certain like, oh, if there's so and so on your team, like you really should have this because this combo is broken, but the real good counter for that is for the other team is if there's this character. Yes,
there definitely are those kind of things. One of my favorite heroes has a very natural counter. So it's one of my favorite heroes is here called Bristleback. He's like a porcupine. And one of his abilities is a passive. It's and it makes it so like if you attack his back or his sides, he takes reduced damage. Makes him very tanky, especially when he's got his back turned to you, right? But that's a passive ability. Just like how there's silence, which stops active abilities from being cast, there's a thing called break in Dota. Now you can there is an item that breaks enemies for a moment, but there's also this hero called Viper who has an AoE break. Oof. Which is a very natural counter to Bristleback because Bristleback no longer gets damage reduction while that's happening. And so that's like an example of a natural, like a lot of times, as I play a lot of Bristleback, I will just see people pick Viper after they see me pick Bristleback. And that's why you take turns picking, because then you can say, ooh, we really need this to counter that particular thing. Bristleback has less in the way of automatic combos, but I think actually a really good example of just a natural combo is in the first game we played. Actually in both games we played, I was playing as Ogre Magi, who is really good. Oh, that was a pretty nice kill. Ogre Magi has a very good attack speed boost for allies called Bloodlust. And the thing is, interestingly, Bloodlust is a card in Hearthstone as well. Note that Dota is based off of Warcraft. The original Defense of the Ancients was a Warcraft mod, and then Dota 2 is like a standalone game made by the same person who made the mod. But anyways, and thus there's a lot of things have carried over. For instance, Crystal Maiden is like basically just a dime store ripoff of Jaina from the World of Warcraft universe. Ogre Magi is a direct ripoff of a particular character in the Warcraft universe who is like an ogre with two heads and stuff like that. Or maybe it's just an ogre with one head. But anyways, so there's a lot of natural combos, and so you want to build a team that complements each other. But anyways, Ogre Magi has attack speed buff. I was playing with two heroes who want to attack a lot. That's basically all they want to do. So buffing their attack speed is really useful because, like with Drow, for instance, on her attacks, she would slow enemies. So the more attacks, the slower they go. So the more I can buff her attack speed, that's like a natural combo for us as well. So there's a lot of different interactions between particular heroes that you got to kind of watch out for. And I make the game very complicated to play a lot of the time. I can play Ogre Magi every game, and I'm not going to probably, it'll be a long time before I play a game with the exact same heroes on my side and on the enemy side, even though I'm playing the same hero, let alone all the games where I'm playing not Ogre Magi, right? So, that's one of the things that keeps the replayability, I think, pretty high, and why people enjoy playing these games, is because, every game is usually a lot different because the heroes are usually pretty different, and like the matchup knowledge can become important. So what matchup knowledge means is like a great example of matchup knowledge is just in range. If you're playing two ranged heroes, whoever has the higher range is going to get to shoot the other person, and so that becomes an important way that matchup plays out. And of course, with a different hero who has like maybe a shorter range, like you might have a hero who loses the range battle to 3 heroes, but who wins the range battle against 5 others. And so half the time, you're outranging the opponent and you're using that to your advantage, and the other half of the time you're jostling, trying not to get hit too much and stay out of your opponent's range. And so matchup knowledge and how you counter a particular opponent is really important. I think that for newer players, it's not very critical that you understand counters very much, because if you're just playing well, you'll usually just win regardless of counters. Counters become a lot more important in high level of play where everybody's playing pretty well. But what I always tell players who are like, especially if that's like a new player, or if I have a teammate who in pick and bans is trying to really force like someone needs to play Bristleback like on our team, like it's the perfect counter, I'll usually say, we're better off with people playing what they're comfortable and good with than with here's a huge team fight that just happened. A lot of people have gone down on both sides. But yeah, I'll usually say like just play what you're comfortable with rather than trying to like force somebody to play like the opportune counter. Because if you're bad with that counter hero, then there's still 4 other heroes on the other team, right? Like it doesn't matter if you counter one particularly well if you're not playing well. And always, a counter is usually only good if it has good items too. So if you're just sucking and like not getting good items, then it won't even matter that you're right, that you got the counter, because you're still going to lose the battle anyways because they've got more gold. So all those things become really important. One thing I want to talk about just briefly is monetization. So Dota, so like in League, this is a huge reason why I would recommend a new player play Dota instead of League. In League, you have to buy heroes. So like you start out with, I think none, like you don't own any heroes, or you start out with just a couple. I don't remember exactly, but there's over 100 heroes, and you can buy them with real money or with some in-game currency that you slowly accrue up. But it's like you have to play for like 2 weeks straight in order to save up for just one hero.
Oof.
As in Dota, every hero is free from the get-go, and the only thing you can spend money on is like a battle pass, which gives you some advanced stats, but doesn't actually impact how your characters play, as well as you can buy cosmetic things to make your heroes look a little different. And so you can do that also. There's cosmetic stuff in League as well. But it's kind of enjoyable because like imagine spending like 2 weeks saving up for a hero, and then you've never played them before, and then it turns out you don't like them. Like that can be a real bummer. And then it's like, well, now I have to wait 2 more weeks. And I know there's like a free rotation of heroes every week in League, like 8 heroes that are free like for the week, and then that changes every week. But it's still like you don't get that experience of getting better with a hero if you don't buy them, because you can only play them for a week. And so that's one thing that I think is much more new player friendly in Dota. Is like it's much easier to, even though I think the game is actually harder than League in terms of there's more nuanced things. Not they're both difficult games, and I would never say that like a pro player in League is somehow lesser than a pro player in Dota. But I would say that Dota just has more complex systems, especially for a new player to be able to grasp. That said, the ability to play whoever you want makes it, I think, more new player friendly anyways, in general. So if you see all these pink things around the map, that's actually one of the character's ultimates, the Templar Assassin. She can put those down, and then she can activate them and blow them up to slow an enemy who has walked over. It's just like a little trap. It doesn't do very much damage, but it gives a little bit of sight. So it can be very useful, right? Because information is key. Like if like for instance, like let's say you're the team right here who's down in the bottom left corner, who none of you can see because you can't see the mini map, but they're all in the middle of the map. Let's say there's like one person straggling up in the top half of the map. You might be like, we'll just rotate and go kill them. And so information is so important in these top games, like are in these top level games, like knowing where the enemy heroes are and trying to abuse like their positioning, super important. This game is really close, 15-11. We can see.
Do we want to skip ahead a little because it's 45 now?
Yeah. So okay. So if the game ends at around 50, if we go to 35, we'll end right on time. So at this point, the game is still really close, 22-19. Unfortunately, one second. If I just wait just a second and let the thing go away. Okay, so we can see under their names how much gold each team. No, that can't be how much gold they have because that alliance is way behind then. Darn. In modern games of Dota, I will say the
gold is shown.
The gold is shown. Like there's a lot of advanced stats given, which is useful. But we can't see in the top left-hand corner the last hits and the denies. So we can see that like Nature's Prophet has killed the most minions. Yeah. And then Templar Assassin, and then Chaos Knight, and then Enigma. So one thing you can do is just by looking at that, you can see who's the carry, you can see who's winning, and who's the supports. So, like, for instance, here we can tell that Nature's Prophet must be a carry in this instance because he's got the most last hits. Meanwhile, Io and Crystal Maiden have 36 between them. Yeah. Very clearly, they're not trying to get last hits. Hopefully. So, both teams seem to be jockeying for position right now. Looking at the tower spread, it's actually very even. Both teams have taken 4 towers. All the outer towers are gone, and then 1 inner tower for each. And so that makes the game. That means the game is pretty close. That's like just like how kills, like we can tell they're pretty close there. And they just got. So what that was, and this helps illuminate how different team compositions do different things better. So in that particular instance, we saw they just got a pick, and what a pick is like when your team finds a straggler and kills them. Some compositions, especially I can think in League in particular, because but some compositions really want to get picks. Here we got a pick. Oh, but they teleported away right at the last second. That was crucial. That would have been really bad. But we see down there in the bottom, like talking about itemization in League, like that puck had an item called Blink Dagger, and literally all Blink Dagger does, it gives you no stats. It just gives you an active ability to jump, but you can't use it in combat. If you've been hit like in the last, the last 5 seconds, you can't use it. So it's more of a get around the map, jump into fights than it is like a get out of jail card. Yeah. But that's a great example that nothing like that exists like that in League. But anyways, so a pick comp is looking to try to grab like one person out of the other team and kill them, or catch them slipping, right? And then abuse that misposition, get a kill, and then it's a 4v5. Then it doesn't matter. Usually in a 4v5, it doesn't matter if your team's technically better at team fighting. If we've got 4 and you've got 5, we're at a big disadvantage. So pick comp can be useful. Some teams will do like a team fight composition, which is what I would say that this comp is with Enigma, because Enigma's got such an amazing ability in the black hole that automatically lends them to being more of a team fight comp. Though he does have other moves and stuff. They do have some pick abilities because Alchemist has a really big stun, and Batrider has he's got that drag thing. He can grab somebody and just drag them along, those are really good for picking someone off. Let's talk about Rubik for a second. So that's the one next to Batrider, so it's 2 to the left from the middle. Rubik has a very interesting ability. And this is an example of part of how Dota can become more complex. He's got an ability where he clicks on an enemy with like his W, I think, and he just copies whatever the last ability they used is, and he just has it.
He's Kirby.
Yeah, he's kind of like Kirby. So here we see Navi is going ahead and taking racks, or at least they're trying to. Now, a lot of the members of Alliance are up right now, which makes this kind of a dangerous play. So, as we've noted, you're at a disadvantage when attacking somebody else's fort. Oh, but look at Nature's Prophet was split pushing there, and so were these guys. So while they took mid, it looks like these guys are going to maybe take two different ones, and that's an example of another type of composition is a split push comp. A split push comp wants to avoid a confrontation at all costs, but they just want to keep all the lanes pushing, so that they can, basically try to spread you so thin that you can't deal with them. In this case, Nature's Prophet as we noted, is a very good split push hero and helps accomplish that goal. Here we see team fights are really going off now. There's fights happening all over the map. We can see the person who's controlling the camera is having trouble keeping track of it. I am having trouble keeping track of it too.
So in Lunch Zone last week, we talked about gendered aesthetics in games. And one thing that I've noticed in a lot of these, I mean maybe not so much Street Fighter and, the most modern Street Fighter and Smash Brothers, is that it's got a very quote unquote male aesthetic. Where
What does
dark,
male aesthetic mean?
gritty, just dark and gritty, which lends itself more to male dominant narratives.
Why?
Not to say that we talked to. Let me try and think about.
I think for me personally, I take issue with the idea that dark and gritty must mean a male-dominated narrative.
Right, but mostly in games with narrative, not so much something like this.
Okay.
And not that it is this fault that it has a male-dominant narrative. It's just in games where it's dark and gritty, it's typically more. There's a lot more. I'm trying to think of more male characters, more archetypal female characters where they get their, either the dominatrix or they get fridged, or it's stuff like that, more than something like Overwatch, which has a brighter feel to it, which is also another esport. So I'm just trying to think of other esports that have that Overwatch type of aesthetic, more than something that has that darker.
League has a more brighter, cartoony kind of feel to it. That's how I would describe it: brighter and more cartoony. I would say Dota is definitely darker and grittier than. And StarCraft is kind of darker and grittier too, I suppose. I don't really like the word gritty, but we'll say the aesthetic is darker, maybe more realistic or more sharp, right? Think of League or Smash Brothers. They're kind of bubbly, not a lot of sharp edges in the game in general. There's split pushers going to try to win or something. So this puts Navi in an interesting spot because they've got to try to back off, or they have to decide whether they want to try to fight this Nature's Prophet or what. But other esports, I would say Counter-Strike is a pretty realistic, quote unquote, kind of aesthetic. Things are meant to look true to life, and the weapons you use are true to life. This game is relatively cartoony. We see you play as an ogre with two heads, woo. Yeah. Play Scholar. I don't disagree with the assumption or the
statement
conclusion that dark and gritty is typically male centric. I just don't think that there's anything inherently masculine about dark and gritty, the dark and gritty aesthetic. It's just the way that it's presented in our culture tends to be more along the lines of it tends to be more masculine in those particular instances, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a dark and gritty game that's feminine.
Oh yeah.
That's at least that's how I feel about it. But yeah, I would say one of the things that to me that's interesting is that and let's take a break here. It's if I just look up League of Legends versus Dota 2, and
Female centered, like you can. I think one like gritty. It's the new Charlie's Angels movie. Seemed to have a darker aesthetics, but it's very female heavy.
What do you mean? There's a new Charlie's Angels movie. Oh, this?
Yeah.
We're not gonna watch it, but I believe you.
Yeah. Just from what the trailer showed me. And then another one I mentioned was I feel like Deadpool has that. It subverts it because I feel like Deadpool is a lot more female friendly than like Batman, and both of them are dark comics.
Yeah, like for me, like I think the issue I take is like, and from my experience, like the female characters of League of Legends are much more like sexualized, and so to me it's like, is this more like, if we're talking about male centric, like, oh, Dota is like the darker and grittier game. But if I'm thinking which one objectifies women more, I would likely think it's League of Legends.
Yeah.
Like look at that. Like I don't know. To me, like that's a very sexualized.
But that's
feminine
weird for
figure.
me that you don't call that dark and gritty, because I lump in the sexualization of women in the dark narrative.
Oh, well, but to me this is like
aesthetic.
but to me it's like a much brighter game. Like if we just look at, it's hard. We'll look at.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to derail with aesthetics.
So like no League. We'll look at League of Legends. Actually, yeah, I don't want to pull up the stream. I just want to find here. This is a champion spotlight from very recently. So like we can see that like this is kind of like the way that it looks. Kind of, it's still pretty dark, I guess, but generally speaking, just more cartoony and stuff like that. They're like these reticles and like these bushes. They're all just a little brighter than Dota 2. I want to find Dota 2 from, this is 5 hours ago, so this will be pretty.
So Play Scholar asks, do you need
Actually, it's funny,
objectification for it to be male centric? And I would say no.
I think you can have a feminine game that objectifies, men, or even a feminine game that objectifies women or something. I don't know exactly what we mean when we say male centric, but because I think you were the one who used that term first.
I did, yeah.
But like if I'm imagining something as like, why would gritty and dark be more like masculine? I'm assuming it's just because it's like, here, we'll play this just to have something playing.
I mean, you can throw it back on the...
It's too late, I already lost it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it doesn't matter. I don't think we weren't really talking about that game, so like we were talking about something else. So like, I don't know, what does masculine mean? What does feminine mean? Like these things become really
very
tricky.
Loaded.
Yeah, well, like loaded, I guess, but also just like tricky to exactly define. When it comes to like, how do you define a game as like masculine or feminine? Like, is this game fundamentally masculine because you're like killing other things, or is it not, right? Or does that not make it masculine? Or like, does the act of, is that like, if we go Freudian, is like them killing that guy, is that like a penetration or something, right? And thus masculine in nature, right? Like it depends on like your school of psychology that I guess you're subscribing to. I think a lot of times, like, and this is just me putting words into other people's mouths, but I've definitely heard that like team-based games like this or Overwatch tend to be more feminine because there's more teamwork involved. But to me, that's bullshit. Because and so a lot of people will say like, oh yeah, like a character like Mercy in Overwatch, who's like just a dedicated healer, like very feminine in nature. And I take issue.
Mercy kills.
Well, she can kill.
And she buffs, like the extra power. Sorry.
No. I'm not talking about the specifics of the gameplay. I'm talking about more like the archetypal character that they are. And so, but I've heard people say like Overwatch is like a female-friendly game because you can play as Mercy, who's a more feminine character, not just in terms of the way she looks, but feminine and like she's supporting others, as if that's like a marker of femininity, which I don't necessarily agree that it is. Which is that, and so that's my problem, is just because you can support other people in the game, that doesn't mean that it's feminine in nature, because you're like, to me, femininity is more than just supporting others or being like a housewife or something like that, right? Just like how I think masculinity is a lot more than just beating things up, right? Or, being dark or whatever. And so like, I think it becomes tricky to like start describing like what I would say is like, this is yes, there are gendered characters in this media, but like the act of the gameplay, I don't think there's anything inherently gendered about me stun locking you or something like that, right? That's just strategy.
I think I'm thinking of more of the player interaction. Oh, here we go. When people ask the question, how do you define these things, it often stops the conversation of women's experience when you say we can't really talk about this because the lines of these words aren't strictly defined.
It's more, I'm just saying from a gameplay perspective, I just don't think that the game is masculine or feminine. I'm not saying that the female experience of playing these games is very different than the male experience. But I don't think that that has really much to do with the gameplay. And I think that has to do with the culture around gaming that can often be toxic for female players who are, there's a lot of different things that go into being a female player. Like you're assumed to be worse than other players, right? If you're a female player, you could be, if you're a female player, you might get harassed just because of your gender, right? By other people. If you do worse, people will assume it's because you're a woman, right? And so all of those things make the feminine experience, or the experience of playing these games while being feminine, different. But is what just happened on the screen feminine or masculine? I don't feel like it is either of those things.
I think it's more of the aesthetics that welcome a certain kind of player. Because one thing that whenever I see, like whenever we pull up these pro players, it's always men. And that's not to say, there's no good female pro players, or that all, or that they're actively saying no female pro players allowed. But how do these games affect who plays and who is able to stick around long enough to make it through? Because I put down gaming for about 10 years because of online experiences while female. And I only picked it up once I got here because people were very different, a lot kinder.
Yeah, definitely the context can change. I think that one thing I'll note is that I don't think like women are inherently like worse or anything at these kind of games, right? Like I think that there's definitely more of a cultural thing. One of my favorite, probably my favorite, it's kind of, I don't know if I can say who my favorite StarCraft player is. I really love StarCraft and I love a lot of players. But one of my favorite StarCraft players her name is Scarlet, and she is a professional, and she's like won like major tournaments and stuff. She's a trans woman actually, and so it's pretty cool to see those kind of individuals performing. I know that there was at least like one female player in the Overwatch League, like as a pro player, and so like those things are really cool, and I think it's cool to like break down like the gendered barriers that kind of stop people from playing the game, and having good role models like this, having like a woman be a fantastic StarCraft player or a fantastic Overwatch player, I think makes the game also more friendly, right? It gives more visibility to women playing esports and stuff like that. You're right, esports is definitely incredibly male dominated at the highest level currently. But I'm hoping that will change over time. As for your question about aesthetics guiding like a certain kind of viewer, like I don't think, for me personally, I wouldn't say that like women can't enjoy a darker, grittier game, or even, but if we're talking about the way that it might be marketed, right, I would say that like probably a game like Overwatch markets itself more towards women with its, it has like more strong women who have like more like as characters, more strong women for the players to like kind of identify with, and that and identification can be important. If we look at most competitive games or just games in general, right? Like representation was not very high for women for a very long time. And I think that is people who make games, and I don't mean to sound cynical, I think they just realize that there's 50% of the population who could be buying their games, right? And so like being able to have like Tracer, right, as like your mascot for like Overwatch, like that's a really useful thing just from a marketing perspective of like to get women to purchase your game and enjoy it. Because as I noted, I don't think there's anything particularly masculine or feminine about playing these games. And we just saw this weekend, right? Like millions of Americans tuned in to watch the Women's World Cup, right? And we saw women competing in the sport at the highest level, and men and women loving watching it, right? There's nothing like, people, in my opinion, just like to watch sports and like to play competitive games. There's a satisfaction in doing well at something, right? And that satisfaction to me is important for, from a cultural perspective. Like, I think, people should get to feel like they're good at things, and that they have an opportunity to make decisions that matter. And that's I think that's a big reason why people play competitive video games as opposed to single player games. Not to say that single player games don't get played a lot, they do, but if you look at hours played, competitive games this decade have way more hours played than single player games, right? And I think it's because when you play a competitive game, you feel like what you're doing matters. Because every decision, if I make a bad decision, I get punished. If I make a good decision, my team might win or we get ahead, right? And because that feeling of what I'm doing matters, I think that is an important feeling for anyone, regardless of their gender or anything like that. So that's kind of how I approach it a little bit. That said, it's 3:04. This show is only 2 hours long, so you're going to have to come in next week at about this time, and we'll be playing maybe Counter-Strike. Maybe we'll play Overwatch. Who knows? But
good.
Have a wonderful day, and we will see you on the flip
Next week.
side. Pop.